welcome back to Mr. Doodlebug Journals. Today we are going to continue with our folio. Last time we made this section, and today we're going to start by making the notebooks to fill these pockets. So ahead of time, I just went ahead and I picked out these papers for my notebooks, and I backed them so that there's design paper on both sides. So I printed front and back, not on that one though, on two of them. I may need to go ahead and take a minute and print on the back of the other one. But first we will do one with these two pieces of paper. So I did that. I went ahead and I did that. I also picked out some papers to use in my notebooks. I have this paper, which I printed front and back, and I have some coffee dyed paper, and then I have this paper that I printed front and back. So that's what we're going to fill our notebooks with. So the first one that we make is going to be a flip folio type of notebook, and I want it to fit right in the pocket. So about, I think I'm going to go 5 1/8. Now this paper measures almost 10 1/2 after you cut the little seams off. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to go 5 1/8 because I don't want it to be a tight fit. So I'm going to cut this in half. 5 a little bit over 1/8, I guess I'm going to go. Make sure I'm nice and lined up. And we're going to want two pieces that are the same size. So I'm just going to draw a line where I want it to be so that it's exactly the same. Hopefully that will work. And just go ahead and line it up. Just trimmed off a little tiny bit there. And then hopefully they're the same size. And they're pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and ink around those first. Today it's pretty nice out. The sun was shining this morning. It's still a little chilly, but better than it has been for sure. At least we saw the sun. Seems to be clouding up a little bit now. Tomorrow's Easter, so we're going to have Easter dinner with my family. Not really much going on here today. I did some crafting with my mom this morning, and then did some cleaning, and now I'm back to doing some more crafting. Okay, so we've got that, and I think I want this one is, so this notebook is going to flip up like this. And I guess I want the insides to be this plain paper. Go around the insides too. Do I want it like that, so that when you open it, you see flowers? I think I do. I think that's actually what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and score a 1/2 inch on the top. just so we have a little tab to hold it down with. So this is going to sit on here like that. I don't think I want it on the back though. So we're gonna go like this. And then we're gonna trim off the bottom. Make sure it's even first. So I'd say that's just about a 1/2 inch, yes. So I'm just gonna trim off a 1/2 inch on the bottom of this page, which I really can't do with that trimmer. So I'm gonna get this trimmer and just take off 1/2 inch at the bottom. Hopefully you can see, I have so much stuff up here that it's hard to get everything in. I'm just gonna cut off a 1/2 inch. That should fit pretty nicely. Yes, it does. So we're lined up at the top and the bottom. Just gonna go ahead and put a little ink on the top of this. And then I'm just gonna take a second. I wanna sew around this, so I will be right back. Okay, so I just sewed around the cover. It makes it a little more decorative. I didn't sew around the rest of it. We're just gonna leave that plain. And then we're gonna line it up. Make sure we've got a good fit, and we do. And I'm just gonna glue those two pieces together. Oh, my glue's stuck on there. Go ahead and glue those down. Hope you guys all have fun plans for Easter. Unfortunately, my oldest daughter isn't going to be here, so I don't get to enjoy it with my grandchildren, but they're coming to visit in 2 weeks for my birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So that is the front and the back of the notebook. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick out our papers to put in here. So these work because the lines go this way. On my other notebook, it's not going to work because they go the wrong way. But we're going to use some of this paper, and we're probably going to put, I'd say, let's put 8 pages in this notebook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm doing 5 coffee dyed and 3 of the lined pages. So I'm just gonna line them up. Just rotate each page. And then I want them to be about 4 3/4, but I'm gonna tear the edges. So I'm gonna cut it down. I'm going to cut it down to 5, I think. So I'm just gonna take this whole stack of paper and cut it to 5. So I'm just making sure that I hold on to it really well so that they're even. It doesn't really matter because we're ripping them anyways. I just changed my blade and my trimmer so it's nice and sharp. And then we're going to want them to be about going to do 7 1/4 because I'm going to tear them. Making lots of scraps. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna tear the top because we're gonna cover that, but I'm gonna tear around all these edges. And I'm not gonna do that on camera because it's not very interesting to watch. So I'm gonna pause you and come right back. All right, so while I was off screen, I tore these all down and I also inked around them so that that was done. And I took a minute and I printed another piece of the paper double-sided. So that's all done. So what we want to do now is we're going to take these pages and they're just going to get sewn into this little journal or notebook. So I just wanted to come on real quick and show you what I was doing, but they're just going to get sewn straight across and then we're going to cover that real quick. So, okay, so that is sewn in. So that is what that is going to look like. I think I sewed it a little too high. So I am going to trim off. No, I think it's okay. I was going to say I was going to trim off a little bit of the bottom. But I just want to make sure that it's going to fit in our pocket before I do any other work to it. And it does, and it looks pretty. So now, I don't like seeing this, so I'm going to take some of the script paper that we used. We used it here and here. And I'm just going to make a little decorative tab to hang over there so that we don't see the workings of it. So it's about 5 1/8. And this has a little bit of white showing. I don't want that. I'm just going to cut the top off a little bit so we don't have that white edge showing. And then I'm just going to cut about 5 1/8. And that fits pretty good. And then I just want it be down about, I'm going to say a 1/2 inch. Although I'm not sure that, I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch because I'm going to do something to it. So that is 3/4 of an inch. I don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try it. So, it would work if I could get it out. There we go. So that is going to go there. Now, I have this punch. It's just like a little flower punch. And I want to make a decorative edge on here so that it looks a little bit prettier than what it would look like without it. So just gonna go across. And punch this out. I love these punches. I don't have a lot of them. I think I've only got 2, but I definitely want to get some more because I do like them. Just lining it up over here. And then I'm just going to do one more little punch on the edge. over a little bit. So you just line it up with that flower on here and then cut the edge so it's all the way across there. So it's a little bit more decorative. I'm just going to ink around there. And then we're just going to glue this down. It's a little decorative paper so that you don't see the workings of the notebook. So I'm just going to put some glue down. Line that up. Need a clean towel. I used my other one and threw it in the wash today, so just need a clean towel to get the glue seepage. Let's see how that looks. I like that. It just covers the workings of the notebook. So we're going to cover that. I'm sorry, we're going to decorate the front of that. But before we do that, I just want to make the other style that we're going to make. So there's that one in that pocket. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim these white edges off of the paper real quick. Still haven't figured out how to print without them. And this notebook is just going to be, I need to cut that edge off of there. Didn't line up perfectly in the printer. Just gonna cut that white edge off. So this notebook we are doing this way. Make sure it's nice and straight. And let's see how this one's going to work in our pocket. And actually, it's just the right width, I think. Just needs a little bit cut off the height. So I'm going to do that down at the bottom because I like the top more than I like the bottom of the paper. See how that fits now. That is pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew around this whole thing real quick, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I just did a quick zigzag stitch around the whole thing. I did put some ink on my crease there so that I could see where to sew, and then I'm going to ink around the whole thing real quick. This paper is gorgeous. I love this. I really like florals. All right, so that's inked around. Just gonna go around and put a little more. Now I think for this one, we're only going to use 5 sheets of paper because they're folded over, so it gets a little bulky. So I'm going to go with 3 pieces of my coffee dyed, and then I'm going to use 2 sheets of this craft paper. And they're not the same size because I had to cut the edges off of them. So we want to make them the same size. So I'm just going to cut here and here to get them closer. A little bit off, but that's okay. Just want to get rid of that pencil mark. Okay. Now I'm just going to alternate the coffee stain paper and the grid paper. And I'm going to do a real quick ink around. But I'm not going to do all 4 sides because we're going to have to trim this down a little bit. So just going to do a quick ink around 3 sides here. Actually, I think I am going to do all 4 because I'm not sure where we're going to have to trim it yet. So we can always re-ink if we need to. All right. So now we're just going to fold these in half. And some of you may already know how to make notebooks, but I know when I was first starting out in junk journaling, I had no idea how to make a little notebook. So I kind of had wished that someone had gone over that. So that's why I'm doing it on a video, is just so that if you don't know how to do it, this will show you. Just going to ink around there. And then see what we need to cut off. So it is too big for the notebook. I'm going up a little bit from the bottom, so I'm going to go down a little bit from the top, right about there. And I'm not sure that this is going to cut all the way through this, but we sure are going to try to save time. Look at that new blade. Go back over this top so that we're all inked. And then this is just going to sit here. And it actually is a little bit long, so I'm going to trim it right there. Actually keep these scraps because they make pretty good ephemera. So anything like that I tend to keep because you never know where you might need just a little strip of paper to put on a cluster or something. So I do save those. And then we're just going to ink down these edges. And down this spine. And then I am going to open it up. Fold it inside out. And I'm just going to fold I'm sorry, I'm just going to ink on that fold so that it's easier for me to sew in a straight line. So that is going to go right in the middle on the crease. And I'm just going to get a couple of clips to hold it down so it doesn't move when I'm sewing it. So right about there, I'd say. Just need to pull it up a little bit. All right. So I'm just going to put a couple clips on here to help me hold it while I sew it. And I will be right back. So I just went down and sewed along the crease in the middle. And we're just going to fold that over. Squish it down real good. And get my bone folder. So the part holding the papers in is right on the crease. You can just see a little line there. But that is how you make both types of notebook. And I think they're pretty cute. I'm just going to work the pages through once so that they fold good in the center. Perfect. So this little notebook is going to go in here. That fits really well. So now on my prototype, I decorated the front of this one. There is just a little bit of an overhang that I want to trim. Just put a little ink on there. So I want to make a little cluster to decorate this with. So I have my tub of all of my neutral colored ephemera that I've made. I have some pink ephemera that I've made, and then I have everything that I've cut out from the kit. So on the other one, the prototype, I took a portrait these are just the larger of the journaling cards that she has in the kit. And there's some portraits mixed in. It's kind of big. It's probably a better size. See what else we've got left over here. I love this one. I think she's beautiful. She's too big though. Ballerina. So far, I think I'm going to go with her. She's just the right size. I do like that though. That would make a nice background for our cluster. And then we could take and put one of these smaller peeps on there. All So I just went through some of my ephemera, and I found this little girl that I think is very cute. And I like this, but I do want to round my corners on both, I think. I'll do that with a smaller one. All right, so I like that. What else do I want to put in there? I cut some of these circles last night. I think they're kind of cool. They're a paper that I got at Hobby Lobby, and they're like a funny texture. But I like different textures on my clusters. That looks kind of cool. And then this little piece of ribbon. Kind of matches with the green. Kind of like that. Let's see what else I've got in this. This is my ribbon that I'm using at the moment. That's a little bit of cheesecloth. I wonder how that would look sewed on there. I'm going to sew that real quick and see if I like it. So I think I like that. I went and did a little zigzag. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. We're going to go with that one. And I'm using Fabri-Tac because it's better with fabric. Let's go ahead and put that down. Extra glue, get off there. Then we're going to take this. I'm going to commit. Put that on there. I want it just down a little bit. Okay. Then think I want her right about there. She's stuck down. I committed. Now, because that's going to be going in and out the pocket, I kind of want something there. I don't think maybe some music paper. I'd like a smaller one. Here we go. That there maybe. And I don't know if I want 2 circles. What else have we got? Let's see. This is my whole tub of stuff from Ink and Page. That's kind of cute. My thought was to have something covering that though, so that when it goes in and out of the pocket, it doesn't tear. So I think I would leave that there. Let's see what we've got for pink. I don't think I want another circle. These are just little snippets that I make with Tim Holtz stamp. These curator snippet stamps. That'll look kind of cute there. Just feel like it needs something else. I'm going to think about it for a minute. So I moved things around a little bit, and I found this in my ephemera, and I kind of like how that's looking. So I'm just going to ink around these. And that will work to cover that so that when it slides in and out, it doesn't hit. I'm going to go ahead and put that down before I change my mind, which I tend to do quite frequently. Just going to put that down there. And I'm going to ink around here. And like that there. I like that. Just going to pull the edge up on that a little bit, maybe, in case I want it. I want this to be under it a little bit. So these I made using Tim Holtz's Hodgepodge stamp and my circle cutter. So I just want that under that edge a little bit. Make sure it's straight. That's better. And then I just want something else. That's what I want. I like that. That's cute. So that just dresses up the front of that notebook a little bit. We're going to leave the other one plain. Only have one decorated, I think. I might change my mind on that. We'll see. So she's going to go in here. I like that. Now, what are we going to do with these top pockets? So I just pulled out my tubs of ephemera and found a couple things that I liked. Just to decorate these pockets. I'm kind of seeing what I've got and what I might like. So on that side it says always. What if over here it says dream? So I kind of like that, but I think I want something else. I have quite a bit of pink on there. So what if I took something like this, put that under there, and then that would kind of bridge those two. Then I need some sort of fabric. So what have I got? I have this. I had a piece of sari silk that I had dyed with tattered rose, and I'm not finding that. How about music note ribbon? What would that look like? Put that down on the bottom. That there. I like that. And then what if we put that there? And the butterfly. And their little curator snippet. Maybe just put it up a little more. And then what if we put dream over here? It's not bad. I'm going to look for that Sorry Silk though. I'll be right back. I found it. So I'm liking this one pretty well. And I don't mind this one, but I do want to have different texture on there. So I'm thinking to have that up there. Then tap that. Maybe that like that. Behind that. I'm not sure where always is going to go yet. But I'm going to start with this one. That's just an extra flower. And I'm going to go ahead and put the fabric down because I know I want that there. And I want it to be pretty well stuck down. Let's see. I have a little bit of vintage photo ink on that, so I want to cover that up. I think I'm going to go there with that. I'm going to put that down. Sometimes you just got to commit. I like that there. And I do like this piece of ephemera. And I do like that. I think I like that. Let's see. Yep. I don't think I want the curator snippet on there. I like that. And then on this one, I'm going to go ahead and put down my music note ribbon. And I'm going to I almost think I want to cut down a little bit on this side. Yep, I like that. I want to be able to see the notes. Now, what else do we have out? We didn't put our word on there. Still gotta do that. We had always. Let's see. I'm just gonna peel that up so I can go underneath it. Yes. So building these little clusters, you just put stuff where you think they might look good, move them around until it works. Now I feel like I need, I'm just thinking, yes. Just a little something more right there. Perfect. I like that. I like how that came out. Now we've got this one. What do we want to do here? I kind of want the postcard showing, but I also want my music paper showing. So what if I put this over here? Put Dream behind it. So I stuck that in there. Just kind of put that over top of that. And I think I like it. I'm gonna go with it. I'd ink around first. Sorry if my head's in the way. I find making clusters very relaxing. It really uses your creativity. I that. Go around our butterfly. And I'm going to put him right there. There's really no method to what glue I'm using right now. I'm just grabbing one or the other and putting them down. If you're wondering why I keep switching glues, I just grab what's handy. I think I need one other little bit of something. I have that piece of book page. Too big. Another one of these little round pieces. Maybe. Let's see what else we have. This is my Debbie ephemera. Let's see if there's something in here that will work. Kind of want something like this. But that I don't think will work. I don't know what I'm looking for. Something. I just feel like this should have something else on there. I don't hate that. I'm not sure if this will round my corner or if it's too small, but I'm going to try. Yes. Just so that it's kind of I don't know if I like that. What if I moved it down a little bit? Put that there. I think I need to think about it for a minute. So while I was looking through all that ephemera, I found this little saying that says, I dream of painting and then I paint my dream. And I was thinking of maybe putting that on here. I think I will. Let's see how that looks. Inked. I think I like it. It's not quite straight. a little bit so that we kind of centered. That's cute. It's a cute little notebook. Plenty of room for journaling. I like that. I think that one's done. And this is done. I think I'm going to go with that. I think it just adds a little something to it. I would have preferred to put it under the dream before I stuck that down. I wonder if I can pull that up a little bit. So that's over that. And then I actually think I'm going to put that there. Or do I want it over here? Fingers are all gluey. I think I like it there. Now I just want to see. I just feel like I'm missing something here. Let me just see what I've got in my stash here. So this is all ephemera that I've made. It's fun. I think I like that. Just covers up that blank spot I've got there. Yeah, I like that. All right, I think those pockets are pretty well decorated. I'm just going to take a quick minute and think about what we're going to do here. Be right back. So I just went through my stash and I found 2 of these flowers. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use those on those belly bands. I think that looks good. I'm just going to get my little dauber. Ink around these. Sometimes it's hard to get in all the little crevices. I do find that this little dauber works better for going around ephemera when there's lots of creases and curves. I think I like that. Doesn't need a lot because the stitching, I think, is decorative in itself on those belly bands. Where did my towel go? Some extra glue. Just want to make sure I don't glue that down. And go ahead and do this one. Questioning whether those should match or if I should try to use something different on this side. My thought is that on this side of the cluster I used a butterfly. And then on this side, I used flower. So I wonder if I did flower and butterfly. I think I've got some more butterflies cut out. I'm wondering how that would look. Yes, I think I like that better. It's really hard to get these little antennas inked. I like that. I'm actually going to stick glue on here. And just stick it down like that. I do want my antenna to be stuck down because I don't want them moving and ripping. I feel like those would rip right off. All right, so let's see what it looks like. All right, so got this little pocket, belly band, we have our notebook. I like that. Now, again, I have these little notebooks that I made, but I think if I put those in there, it's going to be way too bulky. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to come up with some sort of journaling card to put here and here. So I'm just going to take a quick look and see what I've got, and I'll be right back. So I just looked through my scraps and I found this. And I'm wondering, it's 8 inches long. So I'm wondering if I cut it to 4. How those would look in here. Yeah, I think those are pretty. Let me just grab a piece of paper to back it with. So I just grabbed a piece of 12 by 12 cream card. We're going to go ahead and back these with that. Or do I want to back it with lined paper? I have this lined paper. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use that. But will I get both of these on here? Yes. Okay, we're gonna go with that. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these white edges off. I used to just back everything with plain cream card. But then I found this lined paper in Debbie's kit, and I like it. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna fill my bottle. It's getting down there. This glue doesn't like to work when the bottle's half full. So we want it to go this way. Oops. Put a little glue on there. Yeah, my glue is really kind of goopy. Go ahead and put that there. I'm just gonna let that dry for a minute, and I'm just gonna look for another scrap that I like. All right, so for these top ones, I'm going to use the bottoms of this to kind of bring it all in together. So these pockets are about 5 inches wide to stay within my stitching. And I'm gonna make them 4 inches tall. So that has a little bit of a white edge, so I'm gonna cut over here. And I'm gonna cut it 5. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut it at 4. Scraps. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just ran into some technical difficulty. Apparently I ran out of storage on my phone, so I really need to go through and delete some stuff because I don't have enough room. So I just wanted to just finish this really quick. These were a little bit too long. We had cut them to 5 and they did not fit in the pocket. So there's still something in the way there. Let's see if that works better. Much better. And we just want to make this one the same. So that will look like that. And that's going to look like that. And then we had these 2 cards for these 2 belly bands. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and back these and put these into place, and that's all I'm going to do for today. I need to free up some space on my phone so that I can work on my videos. But I hope you enjoyed this today. We've got quite a bit done. This whole center spread is done, and now we're going to move on to the rest of the folio. So I'm pretty happy with how things are coming out. I think this is actually quite beautiful. So join me again next time. I'll be back soon and we'll do more on our folio. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Please leave me a comment with any suggestions that you might have, or any feedback. I'd love to hear it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.